Hello everyone and welcome back to another custom minifigure review showcase video. This time I'll be showing you my very first LEGO Star Wars Force Awakens minifigure. This time it's gonna be the first Order Stormtrooper, which is really cool, I have to say. And I'm really happy how this figure came out overall. So there's a lot to cover on this figure. It was harder than it looks to hand paint him myself. It was crazy. And yeah, I hope you enjoy this figure as much as I do. And I hope you get inspired by this so you can make your own custom minifigures. I wanted to release this video before Force Friday, which is on September 4th. And that is why I was in a little bit of a rush, and I'll explain that in a little bit. So let's move on to the review. So here we have the Stormtrooper. As you can see, I did use a normal Stormtrooper helmet, which is kind of disappointing. I know I wanted to use a Clone Armor Customs helmet, but I just didn't have the time, and that's what I had for the figure at that time. Yeah, so as you can see, there's a lot of little details on his front part, his torso, which was very hard to do. I'll show you specifically what was the hardest part and what was the easiest part on this figure. Like, these Stormtroopers seem boring, and they seem to not have a lot of little details, but when it came to making this figure, that was not true. They have a ton of little details, and they're so small, they're so hard to make. So yeah, but it's finally here, and I'm happy, and that's cool. I did not use a Stormtrooper head, so there's only a black head under the helmet, so I won't bother taking it off. I did use a small pistol because I didn't have any more of the normal blasters to be used on this figure, but I will do a version 2, I promise. I will do the version 2, and it's gonna come with the upgraded helmet and a normal blaster, and I'll see if I can get more reference pictures for this guy, so it's gonna be very cool. I know that. So on the legs, I'll start off with the legs, which was the easiest part, and so I know they're a little bit inaccurate, but I'm happy how they came out. I did paint the insides of the legs. I'll show you right here. As you can see, I did paint the inside of both legs, which is pretty cool. And I did paint the inside, well, like more of the groin part, which was fairly easy. The hips, I painted those little details on, those little squares. That was kind of fun to make. So yeah, the knee pads, it's all there. And then on the torso, there's a bunch of little details. So from the bottom up, there's like this little, I'm not sure if it's some sort of belt, utility belt, but that was the hardest part to make. There are so many little squares, and I didn't have enough time, as I said before. What I mean by that is that I wanted to make a Force Awakens figure, and I didn't know which one to make, and I saw that so many people have been going with the Stormtrooper, so I decided about a week ago that I needed to make a Stormtrooper for my collection. So yeah, this figure took me about 4 days to make, and yeah, I don't know how I made it. It usually takes me like 2 weeks to make such figure like this one. So this one did take a lot of time. I remember one day sitting there 3 hours straight working on that utility belt. As you can see, I did add the belly line, whatever that is, the chest plate. There are a couple of little dots there. I don't know if you can notice that. So yeah, that is it for the torso. And on the arms, I added those little black lines on his wrist. I'm not sure what they are. And then on his shoulders, I also painted some black lines on both arms. And they symbolize a shoulder pad, which is pretty awesome. I'm happy how that came out. And then on the back, it's pretty boring, but it was hard. Like, it doesn't seem like it, but it was pretty time consuming. That little gray circle right there and those little two bits, those were pretty hard. And then he also comes with a little detonator that all the clone troopers and stormtroopers carry on their back. And I did add the same belly line right there, the same one that I added on the front. And yeah, I'm happy how the little black lines here connect to the shoulders. That makes it look a ton cool. And well, the helmet has to be the worst part of it, simply because it's a normal stormtrooper helmet, and they do change the helmet on the new clone stormtroopers. But I try to make it as accurate as I possibly could. I added that little dot on his cheek. I added the little breathing mouth thing. I added the black lines on his cheeks. Yeah, I added that black line that goes all around his forehead, which is kind of cool. And yeah, the little blaster, the trigger part is painted white. The butt of the gun is painted white, and it also has little streaks of white on the lower front barrel. So that's kind of cool. And I also painted the scope gray, the front and the back of the scope. There you can see I painted the scope. So yeah, I'm really happy how this figure came out. But as I said before, I will do a version 2, I promise. And it's gonna come with big changes, and I probably will also make Force Awakens figures soon. Once they release, I'll get them and then I'll upgrade them or whatever. Or I'll just make them from scratch, and we'll see. So yeah, if you want to compare the Stormtrooper to the normal clone trooper, here it is. I'm just gonna put them right here. And as you can see, there's a lot of changes. So yeah, especially on the back, like really, honestly, the first Stormtrooper had a lot more details going on than the new Stormtrooper, but it still was hard to make. Like, yeah, and I'm happy that I was able to add all those little tiny details there. And so yeah, and I got inspiration for this figure off from this action figure, which I got just a couple days ago, and I probably shouldn't be showing it to you because it shouldn't be released this soon. Those figures should have been released and should be released tomorrow, Force Awakens, September 4th. Force Awakens, Force Friday day. And so yeah, that was very, very cool to find overall. And yeah, that is it for this figure. I know there's so many little details on this figure, and I know I've been talking for a long time, but that's gonna be necessary for the upcoming reviews that I'm gonna be making. So yeah, I'm sorry if there was some spots where you couldn't hear my voice, or if I mumble a little bit. It it's just words, you know. But what matters is the figure. But yeah, that was it for this figure. I hope you enjoyed, and I hope you are here for my upcoming reviews and videos on the future. And I will be seeing you guys very soon, so take care and have a nice day.